Yeah, that's a really cool vehicle. I'd love to work with that at some point. So those under ice communities
That's
are
good.
very
What's it called?
inaccessible. Nerid under ice.
Yeah. I put an orbit or two on Nui, just saying.
You would, or you have.
I put an orbit or two on there back in my day.
Nice.
Can you Norbit looking up at the ice above?
You can. I don't think they did. They were in warmer climates for that particular cruise.
They did go up there, though. I didn't hear how it went.
The whole challenge with that is they were going to try to make maps and send it up over a low bandwidth acoustic link. So it had to make real-time maps and compress the data on the fly so it could send up compressed maps to take a look at. And then you could like send it missions back down to explore.
Stay above me just a little bit there, please.
Copy. Kind of looks like a face right there.
The other AUV I was thinking of is, I just looked it up, sunfish. It's one they sent into some late Pleistocene caves that used to be on land and are now underwater in current sea levels.
Yeah, they ripped off the name from the Fukushima ROV.
Really?
Yeah, Fukushima ROV was first.
What were they using that one for?
To go into the reactors.
That's what I thought, but that's
well,
that's
not into the building.
Yeah.
It went several times and it would get cooked and then they would rebuild it.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, radiation hardening to a new level.
Yeah. That reminds me of...
I'm pushing there, Albert.
There was the TV, the HBO dramatization of Chernobyl.
Yeah.
And there was part of it where they sent a lunar rover on top of the facility, and it got cooked by radiation immediately.
You seen the wolves of Chernobyl?
No.
That's a really good documentary about how the wildlife is coping.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Oh yeah.
All right, that's good. Thank you. I'd like to
Roger,
move the
I'm
sponge
gonna
to the left too.
park here for a minute. Oh, I was gonna take that thing off. You guys all right with that?
I mean, we can survive,
Roger.
but also the shifting of the red's kind of weird.
I'm gonna put the one we're actually using up there.
That works. Can we look at the sponge that you can see in WC upper to the left?
Roger. This one?
Yep. Just a quick zoom.
Go ahead, Amber.
This looks like another euplectellid flower basket sponge.
Yep, that's good enough, thanks.
Roger. Do we good for another 10, I think.
Good for another 10?
Yeah. Well, do you think we've swung in that 10? This is the conundrum.
Not really.
Deep water. We got to keep track of that. So
no,
when we move, then we got to
really
wait for the swing. Because if we do 2 moves, then it'll swing us right in.
No, no. You know what? It looks like we have. Let me zoom in a little bit more here so I can. You know what? The DVL just like isn't working, so I'm gonna set your indicator on here straight to the USBL.
Yeah, DVL needs to be on a.
Yeah, not a not vertical wall. Well, even then it wouldn't work because it's only good for measuring in X and Y.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it'll measure in Z, but you have a depth sensor for that.
You know, it does have the capability to track water.
Is the DVL not directly integrated with the INS?
It's not.
Oh.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
You could write software to do that.
I did write software to do that. It is in post, but it's not subsea, which is where it really should be done. The INS has a much faster internal refresh rate than the data that it publishes. So for integrating inertial data, it's much
Uh,
better to have it do the...
Come down 5 meters for me.
Copy.
I'd go ahead and move, Chris. I'm 30 meters away from the wall
Gotcha.
there. I'm stretched out.
Bridge nav, let's move another 10 meters, 205.
I don't really have enough to get a good turn on it. Maybe I'll...
That's fine. I don't.
You don't need it? Okay, go ahead, Amber.
All right, that's good enough. Thanks.
All right, yeah. A little
So-
bit of bias.
One thing we haven't talked about much on this watch is the dynamic positioning system.
Yeah.
And Chris, do you mind explaining what that is?
Hold on, wait, I'm getting
Sure.
called from the data
Nope.
lab. All right, no, I was just informed that I do not need to talk to the data lab. Okay. Dynamics positioning. Yeah, so the ship is equipped with several thrusters. It has a bow thrusters that can push the bow port and starboard, left and right. And it has an azimuthing jet pump in the back, which can thrust in any direction. And using those two thrusters, the ship can position itself in basically any orientation and move in any direction with some speed and current limitations. But we basically use that to position the ship. The dynamic position system basically calculates exactly where the A-frame, the crane is for the Atalanta vehicle, and it can
Right, yeah.
move it around very precisely to within a fraction of a meter. So if you hear me calling the bridge and reading out a string of numbers to them, I'm telling them exactly
Amber.
where I want them to go, and basically I'm giving them a range and a bearing that I want them to move. So we'll move the ship, and then Atalanta will begin to swing. And that's how we move the whole operation around.
Thanks. I'm always impressed when you got a 68-meter ship that can hold position at meter or even sub-meter accuracy.
Huh.
I think this is a hemicralium, but I can't quite 100% tell. Yeah, that's good enough. We'll study it later. Thank you.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, Atalanta's following right along.
Yeah.
Chris, does Nautilus's DP have the three-dimensional structure model of the ship and do the predictive force modeling from the wind sensors?
It does.
Okay.
I don't know if it has the full 3D. I don't know how they model the wind. I know that they do. I don't know if it has the full model of the ship or whatever, or if it works it out through a calibration process. That I'm not entirely sure, but it definitely estimates the forces from the wind.
Hopefully someday the current as well.
Yeah.
That's the idea with the new ADCP.
Yeah. That's a cool Atalanta shot.
Yeah,
Light years away though.
we're rock climbing.
Did he?
How many samples did we get there in this dive so far? And what have we collected?
Surprisingly, so far in this dive, there seems to be less samples compared to the previous dives. There's a total of 8 samples. In the forward bio box Omega, there are the 2 sea cucumbers. And
You can slurp those sea cucumbers.
They tried that, Dan. Did you see what happened?
No.
yeah,
They were too big.
Oh, did they get stuck?
Well, the first one, they tried to slurp it and just ended up slurping all the poop out of it.
Oh, no.
It's not pretty.
Oh.
That's what they were talking about during
Yeah.
lunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like great
So,
lunch
yeah,
conversation.
Not ideal.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ember, give me a quick zoom there.
Don't underestimate what biologists will talk about over meals.
True.
Oh, another thing they collected was a carbonate rock from the bottom at a depth of 2,900 meters.
That's good, Dan, thanks.
Roger. Still
pretty
don't
cool.
have quite enough to change my heading a lot.
And there was also black coral and a glass sponge, correct?
So when we're collecting these samples, are they the same every time, or are we just collecting different ones, or the same, or can you explain that?
So we're generally attempting to collect the widest variety of things we can. So I won't say we don't ever sample something more than once, but that's the rare thing. Generally, we try and sample as few individuals as we can. So we'll generally look for things that are range extensions, new species, or dominant morphotype, or basically the most common coral we're seeing, or most common creatures we're seeing. And the first time we see something, often we'll also choose to sample it. Many of these are difficult to identify from video, and so we like to take a sample in order to do a kind of detailed laboratory workup on them to help as a voucher specimen for the video annotation. So there's a lot of different reasons we might collect a sample, but we do really try and minimize the number of samples we collect.
Thank you for that.
Don't you have certain guidelines, like you have to see so many of one?
Depends on the area of the world we're operating in and the permit conditions. So here we do not have those kinds of guidelines, but in Papanamakuakea National Marine Monument in Hawaii and some of the other areas are starting to have certain permit conditions like that.
Push in there real quick, Amber.
Here's some more inverted corals for you.
Yep, my favorite.
Mine too.
Some type of Chrysogorgia, but it's pretty young. All right, thank you.
Hey, Jonathan. You listening? Should get a shot of the upper camera there with a rocket.
Oh, jeez.
Nice. That's going out in the stream.
That's pretty cool.
Looks like a giant whale beak or something like that.
I assume that camera has some kind of bumpers on it to...
Nope.
No?
It's behind the bumpers, though.
Okay.
The
so-
bumpers were actually hitting before the camera.
Yeah.
But it is, it's Gorilla Glass.
Yeah. I guess I'm unfamiliar with what the scratch risk level is. It's still high.
You have to, I've dropped it on the deck from waist heights before, and it's tumbled across the deck. I didn't personally drop it, but one of the kids, I told him, don't pick it up, the lens cap cover off, it slips off there. It was like 5 minutes later. I hear this thump, 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 and look over, and the camera's tumbling across the deck. It just put a little scratch on it. It didn't hurt. It didn't hurt it. You could polish it out. We wound up changing them out. One nice thing about the Sexton cameras is they're super easy to change the lens on. 6 bolts and 1 O-ring. Very clever design. Very user-friendly. And we have spare domes. If you look closely at the cinema camera while it's on deck, there's a scratch on the lens where one of the Hercules operators smacked it with the craft arm.
Oof. That's not good.
Or the craft arm, sometimes makes uncommanded movements is the official word for it. Or that's what we claim
Is that
anyways.
with the freeze fail?
Yeah, it's usually attributed to freeze fail.
I was like yesterday, I was staring directly at the Thurber cam monitor, and the Orion arm just came swinging directly at the camera. Gave me a little jump scare.
And it's been having like 2 days in a row, or 2 dives in a row.
Well, it's been that and seeing the propeller when the ROV
yeah, the
is
propeller.
right about to come out of the water. Because you're sitting there, you've been in blue water for 40 minutes to an hour, not seeing anything. And then you forget that the ship is there, and all of a sudden you see this giant propeller come into frame. You're like, oh, what is that?
Amber, on video, is it hard sometimes to zoom in on certain things, or how does it work?
The focus can be tricky. And that's why I have this peaking monitor here.
Okay.
Because, yeah, you're going through water, and so you have a little bit of that shimmer that can happen. And it's a moving vehicle, and the lighting conditions change. And so, yeah, that part can be a bit tricky. And it's definitely a collaboration between ROV and myself to get it to be smoothed out.
Oh, well, you're doing a good job.
The Zeus camera has what the magic part of the Zeus camera, it has a diopter in it that is custom ground. If you look at the math for that thing, it'll make your head hurt. But so we have there's the lens, and then there's an air interface, and then the diopter, and then another air interface, and then the glass, and then the water. And the math for how the photons travel that path is mind-boggling. There's a pretty good white paper floating around on it if you're into that stuff.
We can take a quick zoom on this coral. I just can't
Sure.
quite tell what it is.
You can't quite reach it.
You need a little more?
Yep. For
Bridge,
another
bridge
10.
nav, 10 meters,
There,
204.
go ahead, Emmer. Be a bouncy, far away zoom.
That's fine. It's one of two things. I just need a little bit closer view to see what it is.
Try and do a floating one. If I come down and float up, I should be able to.
Me?
I can push in some more. See if I can get the Z-bias dialed a little better here.
Almost looks
Covered in
covered.
Zoanthus, yeah. It's neither of the things I thought it was. All right, thank you.
We'll look at the flying thing while we're waiting for cover.
Yep. Looks like
Good to
another
push in on
sea
that?
cucumber.
Yeah, go
Sure.
ahead.
Hey, little friend.
This is not the first time on these big cliffs I have seen these things falling down. I don't know if they feel us coming from higher up and jump off, or what. But
Yeah, are they
definitely-
falling down, or was...
I mean, their predator avoidance mechanism is they jump up, take 2 or 3 crunches to get a little distance, and then let themselves drift back to the seafloor. And if they do that off the side of a 300-meter sheer wall, they might be cruising down to the quite a little while before they hit the sediment again. I have a very clear memory of a wall feature in the Gulf of Mexico, and it literally raining sea cucumbers all over on us.
It's just slow-mo.
Oh, there's a shrimp, it looks like, too.
I don't see it.
Oh, it's just above the cucumber.
He was swimming. This is Parasicrinus, right?
I think so. Yep, that looks like it.
What's that like greenish stuff right there? Is that on the wall?
The rock?
Yeah.
It's
Is that just a texture? Or?
Yeah, it's a texture. It's a different lava flow texture
Okay.
that has then been. So it looks like a, the smooth stuff was a pillow formation, like hardened on the outside, and then the flow probably turned off, and that stuff cooled much more slowly on the inside, and then something broke the top of the lava tube open, exposing the lava that cooled more slowly in a more crystalline fashion.
So it's volcanic, so it must be like it's not soft, it's hard, right? Or
I'll take another 10.
Yeah.
like when you like we're trying to break off a
nav,
piece.
10 meters, 205.
Still not sure I understand the question.
I'm just wondering, like, what's the density of this rock? Is it
Oh, it's hard.
hard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see, that I think is new. Can we take a look at that, please?
Right there.
Yeah. Basalts are they're not hard like diamonds, but they're hard rocks. And then the ones that cool internally and have more crystalline structure, that cool more slowly, are even harder.
Basalt is a 6 on the Mohs hardness scale
Okay.
for the geologists at home. Well, if you're a geologist at home, maybe you already knew that.
Yeah, tell us we're wrong. All right, that's good with that one. Do you see the big spindly thing top left in WCA upper? So,
Yep.
go there next, please.
I'll take that last 5 meters you got there, Jaden,
Copy.
just so I can get around here a little bit.
For too much longer, it should start flattening out. Let's see.
Bummer. Well, in that case, snuggle up the cliff a little bit. Get some good shots of Herc on the cliff.
Yeah, 2,100 is about the top of the cliff from what we have here in the multi-beam data, but who knows.
Yeah.
So.
All right, that's actually enough. I think that's all I need to see, thanks.
Roger.
Yeah, so maybe another 50 meters, 40 meters, 50 meters up. It's hard to say exactly, but...
Did you do that 10-meter move?
Yeah, bridge nav, 10 meters, 205. There's a little slack in the tether now. Look at that.
Yeah.
So one of the things we're dealing with today at this depth on this kind of steep terrain is Atalanta's position is controlled by Nautilus's position. But since there's 2.1 kilometers between Atalanta and Nautilus, it literally can take 10, 15 minutes sometimes at these depths for Nautilus's motion to translate down the cable and actually move Atalanta. So it's a delicate dance of moving forward closer to the cliff, but not getting too much layback cooked into the line that Atalanta will hit the thing. So we have to be kind of cautious in moving the ship at these depths in these kind of terrains.
This is a nice side-by-side
Yep.
of potentially hemicorallium and a Paragorgia.
The hemicorallium being the one on the left. When they're right next to each other, they're easy to tell apart. But sometimes when you're not looking at the comparison, they're a little tricky.
Yep.
Can zoom in there, Amber. I'm going to hold on for, see what happens with the tether here.
One characteristic to look at is the base. So the base of the Paragorgia is more brown. That's because it has a proteinaceous skeleton, whereas the Hemicorallium has a white base. And it has an aragonite skeleton?
Yeah. Kind of. I think it's more like a mag calcite or something. I forget what exactly it is. It's not quite aragonite. It's not a true. It's still an octocoral. It's not a true stony coral.
High magnesium calcite. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in theory, the Hemicorallium has these paired polyps too. At the end of the branch ends with two polyps next to each other.
Yeah, and we can see that pretty clearly.
It's really
here.
clear on this one. Not always when they're retracted. And then they both got associate astroschema sea stars, or brittle stars. All right, science is happy.
Roger.
Andrea Quattrini at the Smithsonian has a really interesting paper about the radiations of corals and how that relates to changing ocean chemistry, how different chemical conditions allowed for different skeletal chemistries to arise in the fossil record.
You might want to define radiation in this context.
An evolutionary radiation. So the example here would be
You want another one, Dan?
the chemistry of the ocean changing from one state to another, allowing
Bridge nav,
for
10
one
meters,
type of skeleton to
205.
form. And that allows a whole set of evolutionary niches, ecological niches to open for corals to then evolve these types of skeletons.
Andrea's been on a tear on those type of papers. She got the bioluminescence in corals paper, she got the skeleton evolution history in corals, and she rewrote the entire taxonomy of the octocorals all within like the last 5 years.
Wow, impressive.
When you're the curator of corals at the Smithsonian, you have big shoes to fill too. And she's a lovely person to work with.
Yeah, she's been helping me out on my search for fish and invertebrate eggs placed on deep sea corals. It's a topic I've been interested in lately.
Oh, you shouldn't have jumped.
Oh, that's a long fall, friend.
Abandoned coral.
How do they get back up here?
That's a good question.
That's an interesting question. Because I once watched one jump off a coral, walk directly to the coral next to it, kind of mess around with the base, and then walk back to the coral it came from. And I have no explanation of how it navigated that so directly. Like, it wasn't like it was wandering around, like it knew where the other
That
coral
is really
was.
interesting.
And it went
yeah,
back and forth.
that's interesting.
How did it know?
I was sailing with Tim Schenk, who studies coral, other invertebrate associations, and he was just speechless. It was, I kind of wish I had a picture of the look on his face when we watched that happen.
Where did you watch this happen at?
I think it was the Gulf of Mexico.
What do they know that we don't? We know some corals are bioluminescent. I wonder if the sea star, or the, oh,
You
you're right.
interested in what's
Sees
down
the
in the
coral.
hole there?
Yeah, we can take a look.
Go ahead, Ember.
Yeah, but we had ROV lights on
curious
it, so
what
I'm sure we
kind of
blew out.
Yeah, it looks
blew
like
out.
a
yeah, there's
urchin or
that.
something.
Maybe it's a chemical cue. Who knows?
Sorry,
What
to
is
push
that?
in a little more.
See if I can get a park on the manipulator here. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Urchin.
Indeed.
Yep, agreed.
Almost looks like a demo sponge, though.
What type of urchin is that?
No clue.
I have to go look that one up.
Yeah,
Lonely one.
it's a lonely urchin.
Do we know how long ago this seamount erupted?
Man, we are so confused by the geology.
I know.
We desperately need.
Well, that's what our rock samples are for.
Yeah.
We can
If we can actually get some
age date them.
basalt.
Maybe,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, the biologists have been spending a lot of time over lunch and dinner talking about the geology here, and we're just about ready to give up because we're so confused.
Isn't Daniel a geologist?
Daniel Wagner?
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Hardcore biologist.
Ah.
May is a geologist.
May has a background in geology.
Volcanology.
What did she say?
Want another 10, Dan?
Yeah.
They were still.
They have some ideas.
They were. Yeah. They were also. still
That
kinda
was an
confused.
indecisive sound. I'm not sure if that was your
Well-
intention.
Well, hold on. Let me get off the
Wow, it just keeps
1,000-year-old
going.
whip here.
Wow.
Just keeps going.
Just keeps going.
It's still going.
Still
Oh my
Still going.
goodness.
Oh, there's
It's like the opening scene to Spaceballs.
That's a great reference and a great film.
It's still
That was a good
going.
film.
Never seen it.
I noticed in our meager collection
Oh,
of
we're going to have
DVDs
to
downstairs.
get you
that
out of
is
your
one
shelter a little bit there.
Is that in the DVDs?
Yeah.
Wait, did Jade just say they haven't seen Spaceballs?
Or VHS?
I just watched
Yeah,
Star
I'll
Wars
take
for
the
the
10.
first time like last year.
Oh,
Well,
I've
this-
seen a lot of
That's
things.
kind of wild.
That's a perfect time to watch Spaceballs for the
Yeah,
first time.
That's
I
true.
know.
Yeah,
I don't know what I've been
Bridge nav, 10 meters, 205.
Can we look at this sea star?
Sure.
Thank you.
So technically we're, right at that 20-meter range ring, but it's really boring. You can't see Hercules, and I can't spin around. I gotta push it a little. Hopefully that 10 will do it, and we won't push it too far. Come push in there, Amber. Hey, look, we zoomed and landed at the same time.
Nice.
Dan,
Beauty.
a little steep.
Sweet.
That's great. Here, I'm going to zoom on Atalanta a bit.
I like
That's
it.
a nice teeter. Excellent.
All right, science savvy, thank you.
All right.
So going back to the geologist,
All right, coming wide for you.
the geology, like, do we have does Denali like have any?
Keep it pushed in if you want. I know where the...
Okay, just want to give everybody situational awareness. All right, saying
Well-
it out loud, pushing in.
Yeah, the ship's not moving and we're not zooming Herc all over the seabed, so it's behaved pretty well there.
Oh, do we have any geologists that we have on shore that are connected with us?
Not that I have seen in the chat right now, no, or not yet. We can go look at the list of who signed up and send some emails. Keep expecting it to start making sense, though.
Yeah. So we have a class from Dubai. They have some questions, so I'll go ahead and I'll ask it. You guys we'll just have it open, and whoever wants to answer, they can
Sure.
answer it. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So number one, how deep can the Nautilus actually go?
Hopefully
0
no
meters.
More, yeah, hopefully no more than surface.
Where's the button at?
Yeah, well, the Hercules is the name of the ROV, and Nautilus is the ship, and Hercules is tethered to the Nautilus. But Hercules can go to 4,000 meters.
Hercules is tethered to Atalanta.
Yeah. And Atalanta can go to 6,000.
Or semantics there, but
Yep.
All right. All right, next question. What kind of food menu do you have, or do we have on the Nautilus? Who wants to take that one?
a static one.
Yeah.
We have really good food on the Nautilus. We have 2 chefs aboard and a steward who also assists in the galley. And those 3 people feed, what is there, 50-some
52.
people aboard?
There's
Yeah.
50 on 2 right now, I think, or 50, no, 51.
And with all the myriad of food allergies and preferences and all of that, speaking as a vegan here, they've been doing an amazing job.
Yeah, they do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
The kitchen
I-
is the size of, probably the size of your average bedroom, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably 12 by 12. And it's
Yeah.
stuffed full of a big commercial oven, a big, huge stove, and an island. So there's literally only room in there for 2 of them at a time.
Yeah.
And then you throw in a little weather.
Yep.
So the Nautilus gets to rocking and rolling pretty good, and everybody still has to eat. Like we get a weather downtime day, but they're still cooking 3 meals a day,
Yeah,
plus
down-
putting out leftovers and goodies, cookies every day at 3 o'clock.
There is no doubt that the stewards and the galley staff are the hardest working people on any ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's constantly working.
They occasionally get a day off when we're in port. We'll get some takeout food, give them a break, but that's usually only 1 meal. They still do breakfast that day and lunch, so they get, they don't have to do dinner again. So they have to prep. If you notice in there, they're bringing food up from 2 stories down below in all the dry stores and freezers. So they're prepping for the next meal, like they're prepping for the noon meal when they're cooking, after they're done cooking breakfast. Yeah, it's really fortunate to have good food on here.
Thank you for answering that, Dan. So, students from Dubai, hope you enjoy this dive session with us.
Every time we have Thanksgiving at my house, and we have, Grandma and Grandpa and the kids, and it takes us all day to make 1 meal, sometimes 2 or 3 days, then like another day to clean it all up. I'm always grateful for our galley staff.
I'm a big fan of the constant supply of bread.
Oh, yeah.
There's just a box labeled bread. It's always fresh. I drizzle a bit of olive oil and put some salt on it.
I enjoy the cookies at 4 or 3.
Oh, what the heck?
Jose likes to
100.
he likes to
What
cook,
it
and
is. I haven't
oh,
seen
look,
it in a
Thing
while.
spastic
is wigging
fish.
out. Look at it go.
Whoa,
Whoa.
I believe this is a snail.
Whoa.
Oh,
tumbling.
He's like,
Yes.
why is it doing
This is
It's
its
like
predator.
dancing.
This is its predator avoidance maneuver.
You want to see the coral or the
Snail first.
Snail's gonna get away, so.
spastic snail?
oh, calm down.
Wow, that was amazing.
That's kind of like the subsea version of the rolling pigeon, isn't it?
See, they tell you snails are slow until they're not.
Go ahead, Albert.
How would people feel about slurping said snail?
Sure.
Time for Dan. Fastest slurp in the West.
Jeff has an ID for this one.
Oh, really?
Gaza Daedalus. So if we already know the species, maybe we don't need to collect it. Let's see.
You can go full tight
The
there if you
snail
want.
that you guys are looking at
Or
is called
figure out.
Gaza Daedala.
Okay, then we won't collect it if we can identify it that well.
Thank you,
Never
Megan.
mind.
All right.
So what do we know about this snail, since we know what it is now?
Negative on the collection.
Negative on the collection.
Negative.
Roger.
It likes to flail. It's the flailing
snail.
snail, or uncontrollably breakdancing snail.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It looked like it was breakdancing.
Makes me think of the Olympics.
Yeah.
The Olympics.
Knew someone was going to bring that up.
I actually got to
The one and only.
film a breakdancing event for Red Bull just before the Olympics. It was really,
Really?
fun.
Wow.
Oh, it was great.
That does sound fun.
Did you also want the coral, Brian, or you?
No.
Roger.
Oh, we
Did
got
you say you
we
did
got
it for
we
Red
got
Bull?
Yeah, they had a Lords of the Floor event.
Whoa. Super cool.
Yeah.
Good for another 10 meters.
Bridge,
Looks like it flattens
bridge
out there.
nav, 10 meters, 2005.
Just strafe the top here for a minute while we're moving. Yeah, I'll have to go wide on Atalanta so she can chase me around here. They can
Sorry.
chase me around here around the...
You got it. Okay, wide on Atalanta.
I'm off to your right now, dude. Oh, I'm pulling you around. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thought I had more leash than that to go wandering. I'll take the last 5 meters again.
Can we zoom on that thing way back into there?
Roger. Okay, Amber.
Is that like corroded right there?
All right, that's probably good enough, thanks.
Yeah, so I'm fighting the tether a bit there. Okay, I'm gonna come back in front of you there. You can come up a bit as I come back toward you.
Okay.
Already on it, thank you. How do you feel about 20, Chris?
Oh, I would love 20.
Looks,
Yeah, it looks like it's definitely flattening out. Look at that.
yeah, it's not red anymore. You can see it broken
Yeah.
up, and I can see
Yeah.
out.
Bridge nav,
60 meters
200. 20200. Thank you.
Roger.
Ooh. Maybe this is a relicanthus, an enemy?
They're really pretty. I'll try and land and get a close shot of it.
Or possibly a serianthid tubid enemy?
That's that swimming serianthid. If you tried to collect it, it would swim away from you.
Oh, wow.
Really? How do they swim, Megan? Do they have...
Oh, they kind of do like crunches, like the sea cucumbers. It's quite impressive.
So it's a serianthid. Do they come out of their tube
It's a
You need it
tubeless
to
one.
swim?
They don't have a
They
tube.
don't
They're a
have a tube.
tubeless tube anemone.
A tubeless tube anemone.
You can push in a little there if you want.
I'm gonna send a picture of that to Spall. Of your top left there.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Go get them all wound up, Chris.
It's kind of what I do.
I do too.
Drop that to like 125, the shutter speed.
What is the looks like teeth from here
Is that
in the
their
middle?
mouth?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's its mouth.
So lunchtime already? Or dinner?
All right, you good, Harold? You got a couple
Yep,
good shots?
got
All
some
right,
stills.
we're good, thank you.
Thank you.
Copy.
Roger. I like your hoodie, Sarah. Where'd you get that?
Thanks. Got it at the paddling Palau
Oh, cool.
place where we got to went out with for the snorkeling and then also kayaking.
I have to admit, I'm surprised that Tropical Island sells hoodies.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't think you'd find a hoodie in Palau where it's 80,
Right?
83 to 85 or 30 C all the time.
And yet here we are in Palau, bundled up in a control van. So
So I got it as a gift, but I also was like, well, I can wear it. It's cold too. Got to break it in.
I noticed when I sat down here, you had Herc at 100%. Have you ever tried it down in like 60?
One of the times, I think a week ago, I had it around,
Can we look at this, please?
I think once around like in the 40s and then again in the 60s.
You ready for another 20 meters, Dan?
Roger.
Bridge nav, 20 meters,
Ooh.
210.
Could it be?
Yeah, very possibly.
Oh, that would be sweet.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I usually in the 60 to 70% somewhere. But I get to move the joystick further. That makes me happy, but also it makes me look less spastic. So you don't get the, you get the smoother video.
Can we look at the pile up
What
top
was that?
first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Is it a fossil? You want to look at the base of it or the tip, or?
I actually wanted to look at the other pieces above first, but it's okay.
Oh, Roger. Sorry.
You know, just stay here because we're probably going to pick this up, but I'm curious to see what, I've never seen anything but the lower part.
Another one? Or just more wood?
That looks like wood.
Hmm.
But wood,
Yeah.
wood shouldn't be around long enough in order to get manganese encrusted.
Yeah. You're thinking they might be bones.
Well, that was my initial thought, yes. But looking at them now, I thought they were going to be ribs, but they don't.
How's
Look like
our
that.
oxygen?
It's actually, excuse me, kind of relatively high compared to what we were seeing. We're at 118 right now. All right, let's pick up
That's
the
interesting.
one closest and take a look at it.
Roger.
Would you like me to zoom out?
Yes.
Yeah, you can zoom out. I gotta, we're
Did you
parked
get a
on the
picture of
minute
this?
there, so.
Hmm.
Well,
Are
that's,
we looking at the dead sponge?
Yeah, it's like the,
Is that what you think this is?
Yeah.
that's like a dead sponge.
You think we should
okay, you can go tight on it.
go tight on it?
Yeah. Oh, Megan, you burst our bubble. We were thinking,
Oh, did you
Fossil.
think it was a bone?
well, we're fantasizing it was.
Oh, okay. Sure.
What makes you think it's a sponge?
Because it's all crunchy looking. Like if it was a bone, it would have been, it would be smoother. It seems to have a lot of surface texture. Also, I don't know a lot of bones that are this shape, but I know a lot of sponges that are this shape.
Well, how long would it take to,
To get manganese crusted like that?
yeah.
A while, but we see this quite often, especially on these old seamounts. The manganese crust here is, you know, really, really thick. So,
Eons or millennia?
well, for
Millennia.
the super thick crust, it's, you know, millions of years. But you can get a surface crusting like this in a few hundred years.
Sweet. Okay, I'm gonna turn it over to Jake Bowney.
All right.
Maybe Jake
Are we still
can
gonna poke it?
for us.
We can if you want to, but I agree, having looked at it more closely, that this is an encrusted sponge stock. So I don't think really poking it's going to tell us much because it's got enough of an outer shell. Do you expect it to still be soft?
Oh, it's not going to be soft. It's
Right.
going to be hard.
Yeah, and so would a bone. So I don't think poking it's going to tell us much.
Yeah. It looks to me like that center axis of a Tritopleura.
Yep, I agree. All right, let's continue upward.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Jake, we just completed a move. Analanta's on her way.
Okay.
Feels colder in here.
Yeah, no, it definitely is colder in here.
So, sorry, I didn't do a very good job explaining that, but what I thought that was the jawbone of a beaked whale, which we will see occasionally in the deep sea. We have a whale fall, and I think the jawbones are denser because of their role in sonar reception. And so they, a lot of times, seem to survive, and the rest of the whale skeleton is eaten by bone-eating worms and the like, and then they get manganese encrusted, and you'll just find them laying out on the seafloor. And when we first saw that, that's what I thought it might be.
Oh, well, that would have been really cool. I like that hole in the rock with the regadrella in it.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, we've
that's
seen
neat.
several. It's really nice.
Oh, and there's a new kind of stock crinoid for us. This is called Gillocrinus, this big yellow sea lily. And then there's an Anthomastus tahinotis, some bamboo coral. Oh, there's a fish off to the left, big fish.
You can push in there, Aaron.
So what is it, Jake?
Cuskill.
He got it.
Ah. Okay.
Cool, thank you. Oh, Atlanticella. We've got a Staropathes and a Bolosoma.
What's the red one on the right? That's Staropathes? That isn't
No, we
Staropathes.
passed it.
What is
that
that?
one's a Paragorgia.
Okay.
The yellow one we just passed was
Yeah.
Staropathes.
Okay.
Though we've been seeing a bunch of Paragorgia and Hemicranium next to each other, so definitely when we review the video,
Have to be careful,
you have to
huh?
be careful, yeah.
Yeah.
So for our viewers, you are tuning in on nautiluslive.org. This is a 20-hour dive. We are currently at 2,091 meters. We are making our way up to an unnamed seamount, which was mapped for the very first time by EV Nautilus last night.
I thought we were going to dive shallower at the top of this feature. So it was nice to see a different dive plan than what I expected.
targeting lots of different microhabitats. This being the cliff portion.
Mm-hmm.
I understand we've been having a geology battle.
Geology battle. It's the first I'm hearing of that.
There's some questions about how all of this is forming and findings of carbonate rocks way deeper than we expected them, and we need a geologist.
Yeah.
May is awesome, and she's helping. And Greta's mother is actually a geologist, so she's been emailing her mom.
We just watched Lava of Love.
Yeah, as a biologist, you do learn a lot about geology, but it definitely doesn't make you an expert in all things underwater mountains. But I always love to learn more.
There's a little party of corals in the still cam.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, just up above, huh?
It is a nice little feature.
We got hemicorallium coming up and yellow crinoids, Calyptrophora.
Candidilla.
It's a nice little spot.
Chrysogorgia.
I love the hemicoralliums. They're just really pretty. The red
This
ones.
one?
Yeah, that
the
one's
red
a
ones on the right.
Paragorgia.
Is it? See, it screws me up.
She was just, Megan was
One of the
just telling me
two.
earlier.
They look very similar. It's hard to tell most of the time. But you see how the ends of the branches are got those like round bulbs.
Yeah.
That's usually a dead giveaway. And also the base of the coral is a bit yellow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it would normally be redder all the way to the base if it were the other?
If it was hemicorallium, it would look more white.
Ah, white versus yellow. Okay.
What's that orange one?
There is the bathypathes and then the stauropathes, so two different types of black corals.
Oh, okay.
Bathypathes is the one that looks like an individual feather, and the stauropathes is the other one to the right of it.
I just been calling them like they look like from Dr. Seuss books.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there's a parentopathes, that sort of fuzzy, long
The bottle brush.
bottle brush, yeah.
Yeah.
This one.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Oh, can we take a look at that bamboo coral that the circle is on? I think this one is nodally branching.
Hey, go ahead, resume.
I feel like most of the bamboos we see branch internodally, but this one is nodal. That means that the branching points occur where that black proteinaceous part of the skeleton is.
Right on the joints.
Yeah, right on the joints.
And the brittle stars are jumping ship.
Skydiving.
Yeah, they're known to do that. They feel the vibration from the ROV and they bail.
I mean, it kind of makes sense if a fish were to come by browsing on the corals, that they would want to be as low as possible.
What eats brittle stars?
A number of fish do eat brittle stars. They don't have a ton of
That's good
food
thinking.
value. They're mostly
Come on.
carbonate shell in their
Yeah.
arms. But there are a number of fish where we find them in the stomachs. Some people have shown that in shallower waters, for flounder, for flatfish that eat brittle stars, that they just eat the arms. And they think what's happening is the arms are sticking up out of the mud, and the flatfish, the flounder, mistakes them for worms and eats them by accident. 'cause they have way less nutritional content than a worm.
Oh, that's bad.
I'd imagine.
Brittle star arms, almost all carbonate. Could we zoom on that surface just for a moment?
Yeah, it's
It
got
just,
a
there's
interesting
a lot
texture.
of little things in there. Yeah.
Yeah, let's push in there.
So, little bathy pathies.
Yeah.
Oh,
What is
it's a
that
dead
stuff?
sponge.
Ah,
Yeah, it's all dead
right,
sponge.
Okay,
That makes sense.
that's what's giving it the texture.
Though the rock itself isn't nearly as smooth as the other bits of rock we've been seeing. Like, some of it's like really smooth and scaly, and then some of it's
Yeah.
a little more crenulated.
Those are brittle star arms coming out of the sponge skeleton on the right back there. More sponge, some of that's alive. What's that coral right back there? Is that a little Chrysogorgia?
It is a Chrysogorgia, Romilogorgia militaris.
Okay. Come on.
All right, that was great. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, the Romilogorgias like to live in these like cracks. I think there's a lot of flow that comes through like these little crevasses, and they'll like line it. There's some crinoids on the rock as well as gooseneck barnacles.
Gooseneck barnacles.
Yeah.
Cool stocked crinoid there.
Yeah, that one's Gillocrinus.
Is that another Paragorgia?
It is.
Yellow base?
Yep, you got it. But you see the one that's a little bit further, that pink one? It has a white base.
That right there.
Yeah. So it's hemicorallium, more than likely. It's got a snake star on it, so it kind of gives it more of a red color. The hemicoralliums these depths aren't going to be a bright red, but they can be a deep pink. Whereas the bumblegum corals can get to be really dark red, but they can also all go the other way and be almost white.
So the Paragorgia common name is bubblegum coral?
Yes, the common name is bubblegum coral. And then the hemicoralliums, the common name is pink coral.
Interesting. not as fun a name, but
Yeah, we do like our food names.
It's easier to remember too.
And then what is the coral with the stalk and it's bushy on the end?
Metallogorgia.
Metallogorgia. And then this also has a brittle star
little brittle
wrapped
star.
around there.
Yep, every Metallogorgia has one, and it's always the same species of brittle star.
Yeah,
Oh.
so that star is Ophiocreus oedipus, and the coral is Metallogorgia melanotricos. And they're always together. We see them in pretty much all the ocean.
Everywhere.
Yeah, all the ocean basins seem to have this same coral.
And the brittle stars always find them.
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah, this geological formation reminds me back home when we are on, I'm at the Colorado Plateau, and there's a lot of ancient volcanic fields there. So there's a lot of formations that like look like this, and we call it elephant rock because like if you zoom in, it kind of has that texture.
Yeah.
But those were diatremes a long time ago.
So cool how so much stuff on land sort of,
Yeah.
we can find similar things in the ocean. I don't know if they're related, but they look similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, and also if you pay attention to some of those stalked crinoids, they occasionally have a snail associate that sits on top of them.
Ooh. It gets all the way to the top.
Yeah, they actually feed from the crinoid. They reuse its waste.
Oh.
Yum.
Yeah, we have some viewers who are saying it's not actually basalt we're looking at. They are saying it might be carbonate.
I guess that's the debate.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the debate.
That's the geology battle.
That's the geology battle.
That is, in
What
fact, a
kind of
geology
rock
battle.
are we looking at? I have no idea.
Yeah. They said just scratch it, and if it's white, then it's carbon.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
but it's
manganese
the
crust
manganese
here
crust
is a
is
little
thick.
thick.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
too
couple
thick.
centimeters. Quinlan, how many rock samples do we have?
I think we definitely have one.
Yeah, sorry, there's multiple. There are, sorry, I just need to count.
Yeah, no worries. We got time. There's lots of rock.
At least two.
Yeah, the ROV book says it's 2, but I'm not sure. That's
Well,
up to date.
Jake collected one, so there is
Yeah, we
for
collected,
sure one.
We collected one at the bottom.
Okay, and you
then-
got one, so
yeah.
there's at least two.
And what depth are these when you find them, Quinlan?
Oh, the bottom is at a depth of 2,900 meters.
That's where we got the bottom rock?
Yes. And there's another one, and it is a seemingly manganese crust rock.
And what depth was that at?
It does not say.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
How you doing, Chris? Good.
Thanks, Quinlan.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, and yes, and there are 2 rocks.
Okay, yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Megan.
Hello.
I'm guest starring. For 5 minutes only. I love watch.
Well, what was your favorite watch?
Like of the times?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm partial to the Rockstar 8 to 12
Oh.
because I like naps. But any of them are good. I feel like 12
Ooh.
to 4 wild things happen because you're like slightly deranged in the middle of the night, and
Yeah.
4 to 8 you get
Little.
sunsets and sunrises.
A little less adult supervision first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
What is this critter?
That's Dr. Ballard's favorite,
Yeah,
for sure.
can we zoom on the anemone?
Yeah.
Okay, what are the little tips of an anemone called? Where this one is kind of white.
No, push in for zoom there.
I do not
Remember?
know what the tips on the arms of an anemone are called.
It sounds like I'm setting you up for a joke, but I just am
Uh-huh.
genuinely curious. That's cool.
That is cool.
I haven't seen one with the tips. Does it have that all the time, or is it a one that protrudes and it can retract them? I wonder.
I do not know. I think this is an actinostolid, but I don't, I am not sure.
You've seen a few of these.
Okay, well, let's keep
The
moving.
same kind?
All right.
You are about a cantaloupe size.
Come wide.
Okay, the internet seems to think bulb maybe is the name for that. I'm not sure.
That's very descriptive. I wouldn't doubt it.
Mm-hmm. We can name it together. There's no anemone scientist here.
See,
Too soon. Too soon.
It may be a corallimorph, not an actinostolid, because of those frosted tips on the tentacles. So thank you to the viewer.
Oh,
Yeah.
frosted tips.
Cnidocytes. That's better
Is
than
that what it's
bulbs,
called?
apparently.
Cnidocytes.
A little suggestion coming in. What's up, Brian?
Not much. Got
Welcome
a full
back.
belly. Now it's time to go exploring again.
Did you have the bacon pasta?
I did.
There's
Super
a bacon
tasty.
pasta. Oh, I will definitely be getting that.
I was like, wait, who hasn't eaten yet? Awesome. What's up to our viewers? We've got folks seriously all over the world right now, and I love it. Hello in Palau, Ali. Hi in the United States, in Germany, in the UK, in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Macedonia,
Oh, wow.
Guam, China. So awesome to have you here.
A couple
Oh,
of
seems like-
Metallogorgias here as well. We go look at Big Star, Sea Star, please.
Roger.
That's like a cliffhanger right there. What is it on top of?
Coral livery.
Yeah, I feel like this is like a little kid or a dog. You're like, what's in your mouth? What are you on top of?
I think there's a Paragorgia under there.
Okay. Not for long. So Brian, I know coral livery is pretty unique to get to see, but do they usually eat the whole thing?
I don't think we really definitively know that, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, and food is relatively
Come down a few
hard to
meters,
find
so-
in the deep sea, and so if you're a hungry sea star,
You want some more tether?
you find
No,
some
Jade's
tasty
coming down.
coral, why would
Okay.
you ever leave it?
Okay, go ahead.
Just kind of eat some,
Resume it.
take a nap, eat some more, take a nap. I don't really know why you would choose to leave it from the sea star's perspective.
Do they nap? Next follow-up question. Do they nap?
That I don't know about.
Okay.
That was
Come mine for a second. Let me just scoot over a little.
But we do see, some of these corals that have scars and have lost tissue on, 20 or 30 or 50% of their skeleton, and there's no star in sight. So it's unclear whether the star might have moved on, like there may not be enough nutritional value in a coral to make its entire diet, so it eats some coral and then moves on and finds something tastier. Or there's always the possibility that something eats the star off the coral and thereby saves the coral. So we don't really know.
Right. Now you can rotate.
Extremely, to my knowledge, there's only one or two mentioned in any paper about deep sea coral livery at all.
Is that its stomach? The squishy bit? Or is that partially digested? What am I looking at?
I don't know. I'm kind of baffled. I don't
My
see a coral.
Guess
I
would
don't
be
either.
that's the extrusion of the stomach. Maybe
Do you
the
see the
coral
coral?
branches are completely engulfed.
Is it?
Well,
It
what's
has
it-
to be
what's
coming
it
off the
on?
rock, right?
Yeah.
It has to be coming straight at us.
Well, yeah, maybe there's a coral coming off the rock, and then the stomach is completely wrapped around the coral.
Whatever it is, it's making my dinner come back up.
Delicious.
Can you come
Sea
out
star.
just a smidge wider? So there's the little baby Chrysogorgia I saw that I thought was just a branch of whatever the sea star is on. I think it's actually, no, it's on this branch of this Narella. I think
Coming
goes
up from
and
the bottom.
Yeah, coming up from the bottom and vanishes into it.
But it's sort of just cliffhangering off the rock.
Yeah.
Are those its?
We are concerned. This is a nightmare for this Narella. It's full Halloween right now.
Are the things sticking down with the little suckers on? Oh, those are.
Those are 2 feet. So starfish, sea stars, eat by extruding their stomachs over their prey and externally digesting them and then retracting their stomach back in.
Turning them into
So,
goo,
yep.
sucking them back in.
So I suspect a lot of what we're seeing here is sea star stomach that's been extruded. All right, Dan, we can go. You can sit. Last thing we need is you getting sick in the control van.
I'm
How
just
far-
thoroughly enjoying Jaden's reaction to all of this. I think this is Jaden's first extruded stomach experience. Welcome aboard.
You're now officially an Atalanta pilot.
Yeah.
This
There's going to be a lot of biology. Buckle up.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good for the digestion.
this might be a Mixasteria or a Mixastridae, possibly less than active.
I'm going to throw a few meters in, yeah.
Raj, do you want me to try and come up a little for a better still?
Sure, yeah.
Bridge
down the
nav.
view,
Let's do
but-
20 meters. 210.
Easy, Herc.
This one doesn't seem like a fair fight. That's just like a little skinny coral and this huge star. Like,
I mean, it's not much of a fight ever, I don't think.
yeah.
I think
Give me a
once the
sec-
star
give me a second,
finds the
Harold.
coral,
Yep.
the coral's only
Herc
hope
stop
is that
moving
it
there.
either gets bored and leaves or something eats the star off of it.
What eats sea stars?
Harold, I'm assuming it's fish, but so I'll throw that question to you.
Well, I don't know. I mean, a sea star this big, I don't know if fish are really eating sea stars like that. I'm not sure.
This is
Okay,
the top
got some good
predator
stills.
of the
Thanks.
entire deep sea is what I'm hearing. This specific one.
All right, you got
Got the
what you
stills.
All right, we're good.
Thank you.
Oh, awesome shout out to a viewer in England. What's up? Thanks for watching with us. They've been a watcher of our YouTube streams for a while and make work from home days so much more interesting. We love that. Thanks for writing in and sharing that.
Are you working or watching Nautilus videos?
Listen, we're not here to ask too many
I'm just
questions. I actually find that I have a hard time watching Nautilus when I'm at home because I recognize all the voices and I just am like, oh, I'm hanging out with my friends in a conversation, and it's difficult.
No, the power move is to go to a sports bar and ask them to put Nautilus live on one of the TVs.
You ever done that, Chris?
Yeah.
Do they do it?
Sometimes. If you go to a cool place, especially if there's like a cool dive that like, you know, something neat is going to happen.
Yeah,
that's a fun activity, and then you get some more people involved, you know. Forcibly, I guess, but,
bring
you
some
know,
stickers, yeah.
captive audience, but...
Yeah.
I've been present for that happening once or twice. Yeah.
Have you?
Yep.
Nice.
The worst I think ever was we pulled into port and the video engineer downloaded all the highlights on a thumb drive and we rolled into the nearest bar to the thing and ended up putting the whole highlight reel for the cruise on loop at the bar.
Listen, we just don't get enough Nautilus Live. We must Nautilus Live more.
Well.
Everywhere.
My day job in grad school is to annotate these videos, which is also what Megan does. So there's a lot of watching Nautilus and Okeanos videos.
Do you mute us? Be honest.
Honestly, it's usually muted. I'll go to the audio sometimes if I know there's an expert who might chime in about the IDs.
Fair.
I 100% mute when I'm annotating video.
That's fair. What is the best genre of music for annotating video?
I don't know. It depends. Something that won't make you too distracted.
Right.
Ooh.
What are you?
Downlight's coming up. Finally got him adjusted so I could fly over him
let's
off.
have a look at this fish.
Who are you?
Push in a bit there for us.
It's got sort of a
Shy.
cuskial look to it. I don't recognize this one.
If you're in the lounge downstairs, call in.
Yeah, I don't know if we've seen this one
Oh,
yet.
he felt me bonk. I bonked the rocks in it. You'll set him out of here.
Okay, we got a good lateral view of it.
Right.
Hopefully that'll be enough.
Downlight's off. I got that one starboard light just a little too low. Missed that last night. I'll have another chance tonight, I think. Or I could do the other one lower where it lights up the porch just a little. I have to think about that.
Here we come.
And here comes the big rock.
Going vertical.
Oops, wrong button. Sorry, Rachel. No, that was the right button.
So we got a couple crinoids, a little Chrysogorgia. Got some glass sponges. Black coral.
Ooh, nice ruffly sponge.
I'll go right and then go left.
Oh, crinoids up top. Really nice.
Downlights again.
Can we take a quick look at the pink corals? Just like a half zoom.
Sorry, which one?
That one.
Roger.
Just a quick half zoom.
Go ahead, Amber.
All right, that's enough, thank you. So that's a Paragorgia and a hemicorallium. The hemicorallium's on top, the Paragorgia is down below. Here's a dead sponge stalk with a whole bunch of comatulate crinoids on it. Using the skeleton to get up in the water column. They're filter feeders, so they're because they're kind of short, for lack of a better explanation, they were reliant on other corals and sponges to get further up into the water column to increase their feeding efficiency.
We stand a short king. They're good. That's good recycling. My mind's still kind of blown by this idea
look
that
at this, please.
that sponges could be as super old, and that we really don't have a great estimate tool right now.
So the conversation we were having down in the lounge before we came on watch was talking about age and dating of corals and how some taxa lend themselves biochemically to being carbon dated and others don't. And so glass sponges, there isn't really a radioisotope series that is particularly useful that we know of right now. So what that means is we can't use like carbon dating or something like that effectively on sponges because there's not a lot of carbon in them. They're mainly silica.
Just a little.
And so we really don't know how old
Zeus or
deep sea glass sponges are.
They center it up for Amber so she can.
Yeah, for viewers that have been with us a long time, I was thinking back to a 2017 expedition on the USS Independence, sunk off the coast of California, and that was a really fascinating look.
For Zoom?
Certainly at the archaeology, but also at the sponges, because we knew exactly what date that ship had been sunk intentionally, and then could, you know, basically back constrain the maximum age of these huge sponges that were there. Very different productivity in that.
I actually got to be on that expedition, and those sponges were huge.
They were absolutely enormous.
We'd like to collect a part of this,
Why does this look
please?
like a Chrysogorgia, but not
at all? I don't know.
Did you say go wide? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, you're good. You can zoom right in, actually.
Okay, copy.
Full zoom,
If you
give
just
up the
looked at the
polyps.
tiny branches, it totally looks like a Chrysogorgia, but the overall fan itself is not a typical shape you would expect.
Yeah.
What the heck is going on?
Got lots of amphipods and mysid shrimp and lots of things living in the branches too.
I'm not gonna lie, I love when y'all get baffled back here and we're like not sure what we're looking at. Is the kind of ziggy-zaggy branch shape, is that a clue?
The zigzags make sense, but it's the overall, if you look at the whole thing, it looks like one of these like Gorgonian corals, like a corallid or a Paragorgiid. And it's not really the shape you would expect for a Chrysogorgiid, which is more of like a spiral or bottle brush type of shape. So yeah, curious indeed.
Curious indeed.
Yeah, this one's got me pretty stumped. The Chrysogorgiid we saw, this was last dive, still had me pretty stumped too.
I mean, there are some band-like Chrysogorgiids, but they're more bushy. They're not just a straight-up fan like this. Or maybe I'm just not aware.
There are a couple that are more, you know, planar, but this would certainly be the biggest of the planars I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Can we come a little bit wider, please?
There's an entry in the guide that just says Chrysogorgia spa planar.
What boxes are open, please?
Boxes, starboard C.
Starboard C. What about lambda and the forward? Is that open?
In Omega, there are the two sea cucumbers. They might escape.
They won't get out.
Oh, they won't?
There's no way they'll get
Yeah,
out.
that's what Jake said.
What is the weight thing?
Everyone's still processing.
The little weight thing there.
I don't know. Can we come back tight on that?
Ooh, is that a isopod?
That's what it looks like.
The roly-poly of the deep. I love it.
Oh.
See if I'm
Wow.
I
The
don't
little
have a
shrimp
really
are
good place to
so,
put this.
so
That's cool.
All right.
small.
Sorry. What's open?
Starboard box C is open.
Oh wow, they collected a lot. I didn't realize they collected that many already. Okay. Well, I would like to sample this, but it's going to have to be a small box size.
Rather.
Sorry, I believe box E is open as well.
Okay.
I don't know my ABCs. As I've said, literacy is not a
It's
requirement for ROV operator, but
Starboard.
one of the little ones.
The two little ones.
Thank you. Yeah, I go by inboard, forward.
Yeah.
The letters always change every time we rearrange them, so I give up.
So let's. I really don't think it'll come because I expected this from away, but.
Go for it.
But let's go for the branch with the isopod just in case it decides to stay.
Way gentle, maybe it will.
Be very, very quiet.
Asaka, you think you collected it on this dive or another expedition? Okay, this one is different, yeah, because we got a strange branching Chrysogorgia yesterday as well that did look totally different than this, but it was a branching pattern that Les nor I remember ever seeing before.
Do you want me to go any wider?
No, I'm good. I have a very wide camera up above.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen an isopod on a coral before. Not a big one.
Yeah, this one looks weirdly large.
I mean, I've seen them that big attached to fish before, but...
Yeah, right. Like, this looks like fish parasite sized.
Yeah, agreed.
But it's just hanging out on a coral.
Huh, did swim away already, which I'm kind of surprised. I expect the first time we touched it, it'd be gone.
And there's an amphipod as well.
Can you explain why we're taking this specimen?
Oh, there it went.
We don't know what this is.
Oh, okay.
We're moderately sure we know what family it is, but it's an unusual growth form for a member of this family.
Okay.
So we need to take a closer look at it and potentially do some genetics on it to figure out what it is.
I looked away for a second. Is the isopod still
No,
there?
it left.
No. Well,
I don't know if it swam away or if he got in. Might have got in the between the hoses there, but I
Maybe.
didn't see
It
where
went that way, and I didn't see it leave, but I certainly saw it leave the spot it was hanging out.
I
Yeah.
think I saw it leave from the upper
Okay.
Well,
UCA.
Not surprising.
that's okay.
Good sample, though, otherwise.
Watch out for that rock craft.
What sample number will this be?
This will be sample number 42.
22.
42.
42.
It's one of the thickest branched Chrysogorgias I've ever seen.
All right, bumped the rock there, sorry.
That's fine.
Zoom back in if you want.
Can we look at the base? I mean, this almost looks like a Chrysogorgia has like inhabited some other coral skeleton and grown over it. Oh, Apricopheran.
Huh.
So these little worms on the rock above the base are Apricopherans. They're a mollusk worm. Man, Chrysogorgias just don't have thick bases.
Weird, weird, weird.
I gotta come out of here, I can't get around. Well, maybe I can. Come on. I don't think so.
Dan and Jaden, are you guys getting so familiar with the species?
They're in the middle of putting the sample away. Give them a second.
Okay. Well, when you get a chance.
I'm gonna have to move to get the nip out of there.
Okay.
It's a little tight there up against the rock. Go wide of it. What? Sorry, what was the question, Mector?
Oh yeah, so for you or Jaden, how well are you, or how familiar are you with marine biology? And yeah, are you able to identify some of these species now?
I don't know about Jaden, but I'm completely clueless.
I've been picking up on some of the IDs, like the cusk eel, the cutthroat eel, telling the difference I can kind of do now.
Maybe Harold can quiz you.
I'm teasing. I can't help but not get it through osmosis, but problem is I have a really good memory, but it's really short. So I make up my own names, but I have some favorites.
Sometimes we have to get the ROV pilots just to break it down to color and crunch or squish.
Yeah.
The important
Oh wow,
information.
epic sunset. Check out the video monitor.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'll put that up on the stream for y'all.
Some of the crowds I work with is even worse. It's either meat or rock.
Meat.
There's no surprises in this box, allegedly.
Any asterisks or warnings on the sample sheet for things that might fly away?
Nope, they're either corals or a rock.
Okay, Jaden.
I've been told there's a sponge, but it should be pretty in there.
Oh yes, that's right.
And we're going for one of the little ones, the back one?
Yeah,
Oh, look, they're labeled where I can actually read them.
Yeah, C and E are open right now, and E is the larger of the two.
C is open.
And C.
You want C, right?
Yeah,
C
sure.
is smaller, so yep.
You wanted the little one, right?
Yep.
I've changed my technique a little here, but I've had mixed results doing this. Like if they sink, that's great, but
Sunset cam looks crazy right now.
Yeah, it's a pretty epic sunset.
the drop on top technique.
So if you want to see the sunset, Amber put it up on the quad screen on feed 3. You can see the pretty Western Pacific sunset.
Ooh, that might have been nice, but okay, close, close, close.
Nicely done.
Chris, how far to the summit?
You sure you want to know?
I think I need to know.
Inquiring minds need to know.
3 kilometers.
3 hours. No, 6 hours.
Still
doable.
Doable territory,
Yep.
yeah.
And how many hours do we have left of the dive?
You wanted to look at something
How
over here,
far
did you,
are you?
Brent?
Yeah, this sizable sponge here.
What do we have?
Harold,
We've got,
so-
we need to recover at 4, be off the bottom at 2:30, 1:30. It's got about 7 hours, 7.5 hours of bottom time.
That's 3 hours non-stop flight. We never managed to book those.
We also knew that we 100% recognized that this was an ambitious plan. And this is not a situation where if we don't make it to the top, we're gonna feel cheated. We wanted to get the depth at the expense of the summit on this feature, just because we hadn't gotten the depth on any of these, and we got to the summit on the last 2 features. It's quite the sponge.
We got a peek underneath here. Can you come down a few meters, Jade?
Yep.
Tight there on the... Oh, and I have to give extra thrust to pull around sideways at duster.
It's got a big crinoid rim.
What is this we're looking at?
This is another sponge with a whole bunch of sea lilies on it. Or not sea lilies, feather stars.
Feather stars.
Oh, look, it's even in the DSC.
And it looks like to me, just looking at the shape of this and wherever, that the current right here comes up into this sponge right here.
You want a tight shot of the...
Quick lasers off.
Roger. Can you turn the lasers off, Jade?
Yep. That's pretty cool.
You can push in tight there, Amber, while he's taking while Harold's taking DSCs.
All right, copy.
I'm just floating, so it's not gonna...
Just a lone leg.
Totally.
There's a shrimp. There's some brittle storms sticking out of here as well.
Not too close, Harold? It's not in the light now. I can back up a bit.
Yeah.
It's carrying its own shadow too.
Yeah, I got some good ones.
Roger.
All right, I think we're
good.
Yep.
Let's boogie.
Boogie in. I lost the plot. Which way were we going?
210.
210, roger, thank you. think we're ready for a ship move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah. Bridge and a half, 20 meters, 210. Me? Yeah, 80, 89 or something. Oh, yeah? Let's see.
Oh, these are Metallogorgias.
$84.
You can zoom on that.
All right,
Yep.
ready?
Sorry, I was off SPL.
No, it's okay.
Metallogorgia melanotrichus is interesting because we only ever see it with that brittle star associate. They've never been seen apart.
Is that
It's a
right?
very
Yeah,
tight
meters for me.
association.
They're like best friends.
They're best friends. Even the smallest Metallogorgia melanotrichus you see has a brittle star.
What's that way on the bot, like in the middle?
That's another one. It's a
Oh,
different
okay.
type.
All right, that's a good zoom.
Roger.
He's
We're
a
waiting
pretty
on
calm.
tether, so I got time.
There's some sponge skeletons in the corner.
Yep.
So is that a different one in the background there?
That's a bigger one of the same species.
Oh, wow.
There's 3 of them here. I can never see them usually till you point them out.
Yeah, they're a lot of the Chrysogorgids are very difficult to tell. They can be almost invisible. They're the bane of an annotator's existence. Because you can watch the same segment of video 3 times and then be like, oh, wait a second, there was a huge coral right in the middle. It just looked invisible.
Interestingly, I'm sure there are examples where this is not true, but this coral seems to generally be in areas of lower flow, and it is extremely rare to see it on a cliff or even a slope. They seem to land and choose to grow on flat surfaces. I'm sure we'll now see one in a moment that breaks that rule. Like it's certainly not impossible to find one on a wall or a steep slope, but they really seem to have a strong affinity for flat tabletop rocks in relatively low flow environments. Seems to be kind of their niche.
Could we look at this?
Roger.
So that's an anthomastus similar to one we saw the other day, the anthomastus tahinotus.
I'm pushing a bit, Albert.
Okay.
And yesterday,
Okay, hold
was it
that.
yesterday?
Sorry.
The last dive, we saw a whole cluster of these, and they were really big. But this is a more normal looking one. Thank you.
I just landed. We'll get a tight zoom. I'm waiting on tether, so.
Sure, okay.
So Asako's digging around on the guide and found a pretty similar looking coral to the one we just collected, but it's an unidentified. The coral can't. The guide doesn't get it past the genus.
Yeah.
And it's from the Northwest Hawaiian Islands.
Yeah. I mean,
Ooh.
even this picture looks a lot bushier
Yeah,
than the
that's
super
true. but-
planar one that we just found.
So
But
this is
I don't know.
pseudo Anthomastus, right? Because it's got all the little bumpies.
So this one is Anthomastus tahenotus,
Okay.
I think is how you spell that, or pronounce it. So they've got a bit longer of a
Can we
mushroom
zoom out
stem,
just a touch to get the whole organism?
but that is just a delightful color of orange.
Yeah, they're really pretty.
If it were gummy candy, it looks really delicious.
They remind me of my dog's favorite toy.
All right, we're good. Thank you.
Roger, moving on. Thanks, Amber.
Want another move, Dan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep on trucking.
All right.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So Brian, after these dives, do you, scientists have to come up with the reports right after?
Bridge,
or
bridge
how
nav,
does
30
that work?
meters, 210.
So there'll be an initial kind of quick summary report with a lot of just the kind of basic statistics, how many dives, depth range covered, things like that. That's kind of easily accessible by the end of the cruise. Number of samples collected, field IDs of the samples, stuff like that. You know, it'll be a couple of years before like a big summary will come out, or any, you know, then there might be a short notes paper or two, like, oh, we just saw this one random cool thing, one pager. But for like real results and to get all the specimens into the archives and have some time for someone to really sit down with the specimens on shore and try and get a finer ID, like that's months to years away. For, you know, the big kind of deep sea summary for Palau that I'm planning on working on, it's probably going to be several years away, because I'm planning on waiting until we have the Okeanos Explorers work from next year as well. So there's Nautilus is doing 3 expeditions here this year, and Okeanos is planning 3 expeditions next summer. And my plan is to synthesize all of that data together to do kind of a summary report and paper for this area in collaboration with Pickrick. So we're several years away from that being all done.
Oh, wow, that's exciting work right there.
And the UH video lab, which is managed by Jeff, is going to annotate this video.
Yeah, it'll
in
be a
matter of
collaboration
months.
amongst all of us, totally.
Wow, this is cool.
That means Megan. Oh, sorry. Megan will.
Yep. There's a lot going on the underside of this rock.
All the annotators, Nikki, Sarah, Megan, Harold, will
Aaron.
Aaron.
Yep.
We'll do the annotations.
Six people.
And they probably need more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a while.
I was going to say that, like, how long does it take?
Generally, the estimate is
Come down,
about
please.
4
Come down,
hours
come down.
of person time for every 1 hour of video collected.
Oh, wow.
Really nice example of filter feeding organisms living under overhangs. We've got Chlorogorgias, Chrysogorgias, glass sponges, Paragorgias. Gonna lighten that up and get a good shot before we depart.